Rom-Com Month, everybody. We are doing 28 Days of Love, and today is day 13, the day before Valentine's Day. I am your host, Melissa Forziat. I'm a keynote speaker. When I speak, my topic is Take the Doughnut. It's another way to say Carpe Diem. And it comes from this weird thing that happened to me in college where I left an actual donut on a table, but it became an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave opportunities behind. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take the donut. Now, from time to time, I'll give myself a Take the Doughnut challenge. I'll say there's something that I want to do, and I'll make it official, I'll announce it, and it just inspires me to stay accountable to it, to go after it. And this time I'm actually opening up the challenge to anybody who wants to join. So here we are. It's 28 Days of Love for Rom-Com Month. And we are going to talk about how to lose a guy in 10 days. We're sharing 10 things that we love about this film, and I'm not doing it alone. I'm very happy to be joined by America Lopez, who, let's face it, you already know America Lopez, but in case you don't, here's where you might know her from. Big Brother 25. She's the host of the America Tells All podcast. She's a fellow Brown University alum. You've seen her in my Inktober coverage for Scream and Triangle. You saw her earlier this month when we talked about Something Borrowed. And she also did Take the Doughnut interview with me. So many things you can know America from. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me again, Melissa. This is such an honor to be here. Look, I love scary movies, but I love rom-coms even more. And I'm so excited to talk about probably like my favorite rom-com of all time, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This is a classic, and it is a staple in my household. I'm always watching this movie. I love it.
This is very exciting. So tell us a little bit about your journey with this film. How did you come to it without giving away anything on the top 10 list? Like,
Yeah.
what do you love about, or, where did you find this film from?
I have no idea where I found it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have no idea how I found it or where I watched it. All I know is I've been watching it forever, like since I was a child. Because this is like a what, 2002,
2003.
2003? Okay. Yeah, so I was like 8 when this came
Oh
out.
my gosh.
I've been watching it forever, and I watch it like multiple times a year. It's like a comfort movie. It's my like cozy comfort movie. I love so many things about it, and I always just come back to it, especially during rom-com month.
Okay, well, I'm very excited to cover this one with you. And again, we talked about Something Borrowed earlier. You took a list at the movies that were going to be in Rom-Com Month, and you said, "I want Kate Hudson, all of the Kate Hudson. Give me all of the Kate Hudson, please."
I didn't even realize, but I looked back and I was like, wait, I did do this. And then I looked up Kate Hudson's, filmography, and I'm like, oh, she hasn't done many rom-coms. She was in this, and the two that we're going to talk about, and not Bridesmaids. Is it? No, Bride Wars is the
Hmm.
movie she's in with Anne Hathaway, and Fool's Gold, which is another, Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson classic. But she hasn't done a
She
lot of these.
was in a really interesting, very complicated. I don't know if you'd call it a rom. It's about as complicated as Something Borrowed. I think it was called About Adam. She has an Irish
I've never heard
accent
of
in the
it.
film. And
Okay.
it's like a film where there are a bunch of, I think, sisters, and there's this guy, Adam, and they all love Adam, and they tell the movie in 3 parts from each of their perspectives, overlapping scenes, because they're all having a relationship with Adam. And you get to see some scenes where, like, you'll see it again from another angle and be like, she was under the table,
Oh,
it's
I
just really
love that.
interesting.
Yeah, it starts piecing together everything.
And she does an Irish accent for the whole thing, and it's really
Why?
fun. But I don't know if I think it might have been an Irish film.
Okay. I've
Um,
never heard of it. It
it's
sounds really fun.
not super well known, but she's done some of these ones that are like kind of complex in terms of how you feel about them. Like, I don't know that you can say it's a rom-com sort of
Yeah.
feeling. Um,
It sounds like a rom-com. The premise sounds like kind of goofy and
mhm.
fun, but maybe the
Yeah.
tone of it is different.
Yeah, the tone of it is maybe just a little bit off of it. I mean, maybe it's not so different from like Something Borrowed, to be honest,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
think but it has that feeling about it where you're
I'll
like,
check it
oh,
out. Yeah, it sounds good.
yeah. Well, for somebody who loves Kate Hudson, this is a part of the filmography you have to go see. Um, but let's talk about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. First of all, it came out in 2003, which we said. Directed by Donald Petrie. Writers were three of them, actually: Michelle Alexander, Jeannie Long, Kristen Buckley. Stars Kate Hudson as Andy, Matthew McConaughey as Ben. Quite a lot of people, but I also want to give a shout out to Adam Goldberg as Tony, Catherine Hahn as Michelle, Robert Klein as Philip Warren, and BB Newirth as Lana. But it's a cast of people where you're like, oh, I know all of these people from something. So that's the overview of it. And the way we're going to cover this is we're going to do a top 10 list of our favorite things. I'll do the even numbers. America will do the odd numbers. And we'll just address some of the things that we really enjoy about it. And I'm going to start off with number 10, which is just sort of like the picture of how we first see Ben, Matthew McConaughey, on screen. Like, how do you first meet Ben? You're going to hear some George Thorogood and the Destroyers. Who do you love? We're going to get him coming up on his motorcycle. It was like such a cool way to meet this character. You just meet him and you're like, okay, that is main character energy. That is movie star energy right there. And you're just ready to watch.
I love Matthew McConaughey. The way he comes in, he's just I'm like, oh, he's so cool. Like, this is the coolest guy ever. Also, who rides a I don't know. I don't see many motorcycles. No, I'm lying. In New York City. But I was just like, oh, I get it. He's cool. I love him. Just such main character energy. I love him.
They present a motorcycle as a very practical option in the traffic of New York.
I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, I don't think it is. No, I don't see a lot of motorcycles in New York City.
It's fair. Which makes him stand out all the more in this film, because you got to give him something unusual to sort of latch onto. But I mean, I think like Matthew McConaughey just comes with a whole filmography for him anytime you see him on screen. So it's like you bring with you all of the things that you know about him, both from like his movies and maybe the things you may know about his life. So it's really fun to just like have this bold choice of bringing him on screen this way and be like, this is the guy you're tracking today. Like,
it's crazy though, because at the time he didn't have the filmography that he does now. I don't know how many movies he had done before 2003. I know like Dazed and Confused was probably like the biggest one, right? Or like a pretty big one for him.
But it was a big one, yes.
Yeah, it was a big one. But other than that, like you don't really know him from much else. But he's a hottie, so
I mean, my
who cares?
So that's my number 10. What did you want to bring in for number 9?
Number 9, yeah. So speaking of motorcycles, I think a different scene. The last scene, you talked about the first scene. The last scene that we see with Matthew McConaughey is him back on this motorcycle chasing after Andy, because Andy's, oh my God, she's so heartbroken. She's going to go to Washington and write whatever she wants. And he's like, no, I cannot let this happen. So we get like this classic rom-com moment of the guy chasing the girl, trying to get her back, trying to get her to stay, and like, getting him to confess all his feelings for her. And it's just such a classic moment. It makes me feel all the butterflies. No matter how many times I watch it, I'm always like giggling, kicking my feet, seeing him like get on that motorcycle. He's right next to the taxi and he's shouting like, Andy, get out of the car. Ah, I'm getting goosebumps. It's such a good scene. It's such a good moment.
It's so good. And I do like the motorcycle being a vehicle, the literal vehicle in this situation. Because I think a lot of times we see characters run. Like at the moment they have the realization and they break into a run. And then you don't know how far they've gone, but it's like...
What's he going to do? Take the subway? That wouldn't work in New York City. By the time he gets to the train, like it doesn't work. But the motorcycle is perfect.
It's perfect because like he also has total agency over it, and you can see his face and he can see into the cars. It's like you can't get somebody. It wouldn't be the same if you like put him in the backseat of a taxi, just telling the driver to move, because then he comes off looking worse, I think. Yeah. But this is he has full agency, but he's not breaking a sweat. It's great.
He's so cool. Yeah, he's like going through the lanes, right? Trying to catch up to her. You can feel like how desperate he is. And it has a bigger impact than it would, like you said, like him on the back of a taxi, like chasing after her or anything like that. But
it did make me nervous when he actually finds her car and he's like trying to talk to her. It's like, this is where main character like gets into a huge accident. Like I just... It's like this can't be the
Like
way this
eyes on the
ends.
road,
Like just
Ben. No.
look in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, brutal. But yeah, I mean, what an awesome.
It's not this kind of movie. Maybe in something borrowed, we would have had like just a crazy accident happen, but not here. This is
Yeah,
just a classic rom-com.
he's gonna catch up to her. It's gonna be fine,
Yeah.
people. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I mean, what a list you're gonna have if that's number nine. I'm very excited about it. Okay, am. I don't know if I even should say my number eight, but I'm gonna do it. So,
Say
I
it.
mean,
Say it.
like, so they make Kate Hudson do the most ridiculous things, and it works because you know she's smart. You know that
Yep.
it's a game. Um, the point where the fact that she just gives him every nickname under the sun is hysterical across the film. But the first one that I register is Benny Boo 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 or whatever. And it reminds me that in college I had a teammate who used to have names like this for her boyfriend at the time. And in at the time when I was at Brown, we had this thing called intercession. I don't know if this was a thing when you were there, but
I don't think so.
so like you have a pretty long break between first semester and second semester. It might have been like a month. Before you go, let's say, home for the holidays, and then you stay gone until like late January. But for winter sports like gymnastics, you have to come back to school because your competition season is starting. So right after New Year's, you have to come back to Brown, but they don't want to open up the entire campus because it's really expensive and inefficient to heat every single dorm for
Hmm.
like a person or two in each one. So everybody relocates for a month to one dorm and you just live in
Okay.
somebody else's room and you're all together, but you normally wouldn't be. So I remember we were all sitting in this like lobby of one of the dorms and my teammate gets a call from her boyfriend and she's on the phone and I don't even know if I should use the term. She's talking to him. She's like, "Oh, my little snuggle buggle buffalo bear," and we were all like, like, because we never heard. I had never heard this, and a bunch of us were like, "Oh, that's happening. Like, what's happening right now?" So, like, when I hear
She
sort
was
of a woman,
serious?
that's
She
what
was like it wasn't a joke. She was
every time.
every time.
Snuggle buggle buffalo bear, I think. So we were like, Um, so
I'm
it
gonna use
was,
that one. That's good.
I
I
mean,
love
it's all
it.
it's aggressively cute, you know? And so like we were like, okay, you're well, all right. That's what you do you, all right? You two do yourselves. But Benny Boo 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 Boo, like I heard this and I couldn't separate myself from this personal
Yeah.
memory. And but I just love that after that, I think she uses that same one again much later. But in
Yep.
between, he's Benji, he's Benki, he's like a million different variations of his name. Um,
Yep.
it cracks me up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's crazy though, hearing like, oh, this is like a real thing that happens, you know?
Yeah,
Um
it's a real thing. My goodness. So sorry to my teammates. I love you. It's all good. It sticks in the memory though, gotta tell you.
Yeah. Snuggle Bunny, Buffalo Bear. Hope, y'all are going strong. I believe in y'all. No.
No, it's been a minute. It's been a good long time. Yeah. But yeah. It was. I didn't realize like people. I mean, like there are terms of endearment that are like very commonplace. Usually one word.
Yeah. The
Once you
longer the
start.
better though. That sounds
Yeah.
cute. I
Yeah.
like it. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm so committed to you that I'm gonna do this for like 5 seconds. You know. It's.
Yeah. She uses a lot of nicknames and she nicknames a lot of, I don't know if you have this later on in the list, but she nicknames a lot of different things,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is very cute, but
Yep. I've got one of those for sure. Yeah. Oh my
that's
goodness.
handy.
So that's number eight. Uh, where are you going for number seven?
Number seven, again, I mentioned this on the Something Borrowed podcast, but I love a rom-com that's set in New York City. Oh, just something about it. It's just so much cozier. I also love how it's just like, she's the classic like fashion writer. She works for Composure magazine. She's got a really nice job. Like growing up, I'm like, oh, that's what I want to do. Like I just want to live in a rom-com and I want to work at a fashion magazine. Thinking of like, 13 going on 30 type vibes. I think it's such a classic formula. I love it. It's so cozy.
It's so good. Yeah, and I think it's a good city to set these like very professionally focused, smart characters in. Like, I think it is ripe for giving you a lot of room to play with that. The only thing about the film that I'm kind of like, because, these characters are absolutely presented as being like with it, on top of it, like, playing many levels of chess. So the only thing that I do struggle with a little bit is the fact that Andy thinks she could ever write political stories at Composure. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
it's not.
we're gonna look beyond that, and just this is just a rom-com. But yeah, I'm rewatching it and I'm like, Andy,
It's
why
not the
would you
market.
ever? No, also it's get a different job. This is not the place. Like read the room.
But, like, I think, speaking of it generously, I think maybe she just thinks that Lana has connections, you know, uh, like
Yeah,
I
let's give her the
let's give
benefit
her
of the
that,
doubt.
like, maybe she can get,
Yeah.
the introduction to a person who can get her the type of things that she wants. Because I don't know, like, at the time, I guess it wasn't as common to work remotely. Um,
Yeah. Oh, of
but
course.
surely Washington isn't the only place she could have done the writing that she was trying to do. So
When she was in
I,
New York too, like hello.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But, but yeah, New York, such a great place for it. And again, like, something borrowed this film, Kate Hudson, New York City. I'm seeing a trend. So good.
Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
My favorite combo.
Well, okay. Number six. Um, I mean, let's talk about just like the comedic timing of this film. So there's the scene where it's I believe it is poker night, and Andy's doing all kinds of shenanigans. She's
Yeah.
really ramped it up to a level 11 at this point. And Matthew McConaughey's entire reaction to the moment he knows she's seen the dying fern.
Yeah.
like like it's, yes, her, but also just his reaction, be like, she found the fern. Oh my God, she found the fern. She's like, are you gonna let us die? Just like,
Yeah.
no, no. Um, yeah, just,
It's
it's
so
so,
adorable. Yeah, like seeing him like squirm like that, you know? Oh, he's such a cutie.
yeah. Oh my goodness, those two together. But yeah, everything he does with his face and upper body over the poker table is amazing. So, I mean, I feel like you could point to any number of the scenes like this and just
Yep.
like wax poetic about how perfect their timing is, but that's the one that I wanted to focus on for number six.
Yeah.
Um, but what do you
He
have for number five?
he's great. For number five, I have just the word Knicks. I'm a big Knicks fan, and I love how, you can't have a movie set in New York City which without incorporating like the culture. And Knicks is a big part of the culture in New York City. And they're both really big Knicks fans, so they end up going to a game, and it's such a classic scene, iconic scene, right? They're there. It's getting down to like the final 30 seconds, 10 seconds of the game. She asks him for a Coke. He comes back with the Coke. He's rushing back, and she's like, this isn't diet. I wanted a Diet Coke. And it's just like LOL funny. So classic because it's like, oh, yeah, this is some of the things that I've done with like my boyfriend where maybe, I've been a little selfish and have inconvenienced him at times, but he goes along with it anyways. It's just funny seeing Matthew McConaughey run back and forth. And this isn't the only time where the Knicks are brought up. There's this other scene where he like makes this really nice dinner and he's like, okay, let's watch the Knicks. And she starts crying. She's like, I'm a vegetarian. And they end up going to like this other like vegan restaurant or vegetarian restaurant and they miss the game. And it's I don't know. It's a big part of the movie, and I love any movie that involves the Knicks. So
And
that's my
there's a
number.
third one too, because she then gets him tickets and brings him to a place where they have tickets, and it's a
Oh,
Celine Dion concert, but it's right next to where they're letting out the Knicks game, so they all
yep.
come out at the same time, like the Knicks fans, and then they're talking about
I
Celine
forgot about that.
Dion.
Yep, yep.
As all over this film, so good. Raise it up, you bring it down, yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
Oh man. Okay, that is number five. All right, you teed me up really well for number four.
Okay.
Let's talk about nicknames. Nicknaming certain things. So she gets a Chinese crested and she nicknames it Cruel Warrior King, just like that, right? And
Yep.
got all of them matching outfits, including the dog. Just the very idea of it all is so good.
No, it's so good. And Kate Hudson does such a great job. I'm watching her and I'm like, oh, she's insane. Like, she's like not scared of being like super vulnerable and like doing like these super wacky things with her facial expressions and her movement where she's like, it's so out of character. Like that's not Kate Hudson, but she just acts in such a way that it's like, oh my God, like she's so clingy. Like you got to get her away from Matthew McConaughey, but I think it's great. She's so believable.
Like I think if you're actually Andy in this situation and you have gone to the level of first nicknaming a member Princess Sophia
It's
and
Sophia.
then going as far as like curl warrior, like she couldn't be more emasculating in how she says it. I just it's so like for him to not leave, she must have been like, what is happening?
Honestly, like she should have known something was up. Like, wait a minute, why is he putting up with all of this stuff?
Oh my goodness. It is wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the beauty of the film. How far can you take this? But if you're like in real time actually in this relationship, it would be like, wow, how long do I need to do this for? Like
Also, when you
where
realize it's only been 10, she's doing this stuff on day like 6,
mhm.
day 7.
Creating composites of their children and an
Yep.
entire album of
They go
memories.
to couples therapy, right? In 10 days. That is insane.
It's a
That's not
lot.
2 weeks. Like, what?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, but she's just that compelling where he
Yeah.
can't get enough, is what's
Yeah.
happening. Oh my goodness. That was number four. What's number three?
Number 3, we can't talk about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days without mentioning the iconic yellow dress. Oh my God. I've searched for this dress everywhere. I've been on Depop, I've been on Poshmark, eBay, trying to find this exact dress. It is so gorgeous. It just is so iconic. It fits her so well with the matching like necklace that they give her. It's just so beautiful, and I think it's I don't know, it's such a great scene, having her come to this ball. Everything, she looks so beautiful, but everything is crumbling. All these lies and all these secrets are being exposed. It's just such an iconic, you know, dress.
I totally agree. I mean, I'm not an expert on fashion. I think anybody who knows me would say it. And like I can say that dress is amazing. Like just like that
Gorgeous.
dress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And yeah, like the way it hangs on her is like it's like what you see on a model versus what happens when you try it on. It's like you just
Yeah.
know it
It's,
would
yeah,
never.
it would fit the same,
Yeah.
but she looks gorgeous. I think I saw Sabrina Carpenter last year for her birthday. She had that dress on.
Oh,
But like I think they tailored it so it was a little shorter, or maybe she got it made to be short. I don't know. Anyways, she looked great in it too. Something
oh.
about blondes and yellow. It's just that's their color.
Yeah. Oh, so gorgeous. Well, I guess sort of going in with that scene, but a little, this covers a couple scenes in the film. Number two, how they got the rights to do all that with You're So Vain by Carly Simon. I
So
mean, like it is a character in this film, the song
good.
You're So Vain, but never in its original form. And like
Yep.
they must have, I wonder how hard it might have been to actually like communicate to Carly Simon what this was going to be and get the authorization to use it the way they were going
Yeah.
to. It like I think it represents really well, and it's like a really fun part of the legacy of the song. But I could also see somebody being like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Lyrics. Sorry. Um, but yeah, I'm so glad that they got permission to use this song the way they did.
I've never thought about it in that way, like the production side of things, like having to get permission for this song. But I just know, again, another iconic scene. Her switching up the lyrics. She's pissed. She's singing to Matthew McConaughey. He's singing back. It's so good.
But they also use it earlier too, because she plays the song for
She,
him. Like she changes all
right?
the
He has like
C's
a
and
record.
his
Yeah.
yeah, and she's singing it there, but it's meant to be like she's being annoying.
Yeah.
So I think the context of it is like, but it's also cute, like it's just yeah. I do think about the production side of these things, and yeah, I can't. It's hard to think of a different song in the place of those scenes.
That would fit. I can't think of one. It's just so perfect.
Yeah.
They another song, this is not on my list, but another song that they use is Kiss Me during the kiss cam. That's another icon. I think like I hear that song and I think rom-com and they use it during the Knicks game and it's just so perfect.
Yeah. When I think it, and during that time too, I'm trying to think that was in a Freddie Prinze Jr. movie too, I think. Like, right? Like I
She's All That.
was it She's
She's
All
All
That
That.
maybe?
Yes,
It
yes.
feels so rom-com because like it was just like so planted in that genre. So yeah, such good musical choices for this one.
I
They really
agree.
actually like the George Thorogood song too. Like they had some budget. They had some budget for
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
I'm
Oh
glad they
wow.
did.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we are. Number one. What's the favorite thing? What's our favorite thing about this film?
My favorite thing, very broad, but I don't care. Just a Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson's chemistry. I appreciate it so much. You can't have a good rom-com. You can't have a rom-com be iconic as it is without the leads, having this great of a chemistry. I think they do such a fantastic job. Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson, they're so charismatic. They're so, like, you feel it, when she goes back to they go to Long Island, right? Or Staten Island. I
Staten
forgot.
Island.
Staten
Mhm.
Island. Okay, that's right. They go to Staten Island. She's with their family, and that's when like you can feel like they're falling in love, like actually, and it's a genuine connection, and you can just like feel it through the screen. I think it's so special, and I would do anything to get another. Oh my God, just thinking about an older Matthew McConaughey. With Kate Hudson, like it would be so iconic. Oh my God, I can't believe they only did this in Fool's Gold. In my head, I thought they had done like, just a ton of movies together. But they haven't. But they're just such a good couple. They're my favorite part of this movie. I think they're great.
They're so good. And I also think what makes this film work as well as it does is that the first date they go on, I think they're getting lobster.
Yes.
And then they have that whole like they go back to his place and she's like lying on his bed. That whole thing. Their chemistry is off the charts even from the lobster dinner. And then they have to really screw it up, and they're both trying to do that intentionally. But I don't know if this movie works as well if you didn't really feel the chemistry at that first date. Because they have to have something they want to get back to. So, like, it puts it
Yeah.
there for us, and it was so good.
Even before then, when he approaches her, I don't know, they're at this big restaurant and he's making this deal and she's doing the same thing and they meet for the first time. They speak in just like, I think one words. They're like, leave or hungry and she's like starving and he's like leaving and she's like now just one word, right? That they're speaking to each other and it's just so good. I'm like super giddy watching this, like, oh my God, yes, they're gonna get together. Even though I know how it ends, but it's just like so special.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What a great one to end on. The chemistry. So good. Well, that's what we love about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. What do you love? You, who's watching this right now, feel free to put in the comments your favorite things about this film. I'm sure there's all kinds of ones that we didn't even mention. Such a
So
good
much.
film, so many good moments. So let us know what you think. And okay, so before we close this out, America, what's going on for you? Here we are, February 13th. What's coming up for you, or where can people find you? Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, we got another 2 weeks left of February, my favorite month ever. I am so excited to be watching just all the rom-coms this month and get cozy and snuggle up with my cuddle boo, snuggle buggle bear forever. This is my favorite month of all time. But coming up for me, not much. People can find me on all socials, adog956. Also have a Patreon with Corey. We're doing a BB Can 10 rewatch right now. I also have a book club. We should be starting a new book around now, so go check that out. And that's patreon.com/Americory.
Amazing. Everybody be sure to check those things out. And next movie we're going to be covering in Rom-Com Month. It's day 14, Valentine's Day. I had to really think about what this one was going to be, but I didn't really. I picked Love Rosie. Um, Arguably my favorite rom-com of all time. The Cutting Edge would be really insulted if I said that, but I'm doing it anyway. Love Rosie. It stars Lily Collins and Sam Claflin. It's magic. Okay. So that's the one that's coming up next. I hope you'll all join me. And in the
So good.
meantime, happy rom-com month, everybody. Get love, get donuts.
Bye.
Bye.